Good morning, CSL Simi Valley. So good to be with you on a beautiful Sunday morning in Southern California. I see some sunshine. I can barely smell the smoke, but I know that our first responders are still out there taking care of business and doing what they can to save our state and our whole western half of the nation. Whew, it has been tough. What is 2020 and when is it going to be over? For some, it's over. If you celebrate the Jewish calendar, it's not that long before the year will be over. I think Rosh Hashanah came, so you're done. Was it 5087, 5089? But it's still 2020 if we're on the Greco calendar. What a year. What a year. The losses. The losses of loved ones because of the virus. It's kept us enclosed in our homes and doing the safer distancing and changing the way we experience life. The losses of our greats who've pioneered and championed the ideals this country has stood for. John Lewis, C.T. Vivian, and this week, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Even if she had never been on the Supreme Court, the things that she did to bring equality and to level the playing field, or to begin to level the playing field. Let me be clear here, there's still more work to be done in support of women's rights in our country. But this woman, amazing. I know it happened earlier in the week, so it's likely you've seen a lot of stuff in the news, but it can't go without acknowledging the power, the presence, the giant of a woman who stood like David against the Goliaths, with her slingshot of justice and her blindfold of liberty. Wow. We've got 45 days before we begin to make a decision again around how we participate in this country that shares the ideals of democracy. It is your right to vote. Make sure you take that right. Utilize that right. There's power in either marking or drawing down or mailing or going to the ballot and walking into the polling place, however you do it. And if you know people in other parts of the country, do what you can to encourage them to go out and vote as well. All elections are important. You hear about this election being the most important election ever. Every election is the most important election ever, just like every moment is the most important moment ever. And we must live it to the fullest. And part of being the fullest is being the fullest citizen you can possibly be. Think of all the countries in the world that want the right to vote. And we have it. And what are we? 15, 20, 30%. And they call that a good voting. How about a 60 or 70%? How about an 80 or a 90%? Help that happen 45 days from now. All right? Yeah. It's also how we can do what we do at Centers for Spiritual Living, because we have a vision and a mission statement that includes the larger vision for CSL as a nation and global force for change, and that is to create a world that works for everyone. We do it from our small, minute ways that we work with our own individualized consciousness, and we do it in the larger way in how we step out and participate in the world. And the vision and mission statement that we live by is this one right here. We're community, inclusive, loving, and authentic. We celebrate all paths to God in gratitude, empowering self and others. We serve compassionately through outreach, inspiration, and education. That's who we are. That's why we're here. And here's what we do.
Good Sunday morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, and welcome to our live Vert service.
Yeah.
My name is Marianne Lockhart, and we're here each week sharing CSL Simi Valley service with family, friends all around the world. And to help us expand our reach to even more people, why don't you click the share button? Even more importantly, share so that no one has to feel like they're alone during this time. Vert is for everyone, and it's one way we can stay together while we're apart. This morning's celebration service will be available on your YouTube channel, CSL Simi Valley, later today. The center's website, cslsimi.org, also has a link to our archived services. Okay, now for our upcoming events. we have Wednesday night experience, which starts at 5:30. It begins with Yoga with Debbie, where Debbie Jarvis guides you through a spiritual yoga practice for body, mind, and soul. Here's the Zoom information for this class. The meeting ID is 878-563-8671, and the passcode is 253932. Then on Wednesday, September 23rd at 7 p.m., we have Reverend Joanna with Poetry as Spiritual Practice. Reverend Joanna explored sacred poetry, uplifting effects for igniting our enthusiasm to live life more fully and freely. Again, that's this Wednesday, September 23rd at 7 o'clock. So please Zoom Poetry as Spiritual Practice using the meeting ID 813-2449-6144. And there's no passcode for this one.
No passcode.
But do expect to be placed into the waiting room for a brief moment. You can use that time to make sure that your name is visible on the Zoom. Okay, moving on. How would you like to help make our Sunday Virch service a little more fun? Yeah, you can do that. Simply record a short video of yourself greeting the community in any way that you feel compelled to do. Or maybe you just feel called to share an insight that you've had as a result of our time apart. Be creative, be inspired, and just have fun. Simply email your clip to Rev Stephen at revstephen@cslcme.org. Now, here's some other things that CSL Simi Valley has to offer. First, there's Play and Learn with Dr. Susan. This is available on YouTube. Dr. Susan also streams live through the CSL Simi website on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m. Then we have Practicing Oneness at 1. That takes place Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. and it streams from Reverend Stephen's Facebook page. So please catch him on those weekdays at 1 o'clock, sharing inspiration, some musings, and maybe even a tangent or two. Also, we want you to know that our centers, practitioners, and ministers are here for you if there is a need for prayer or counseling or just to say hi. So you need some spiritual support, reach out for prayer or any questions. Just visit our center's website, look for the practitioners, or just call the office to leave your prayer request. In closing, we want to say many thanks to all of you who have maintained your regular giving while we've been apart. And to our new friends, we welcome you. Enjoy your time with us, and if so moved, we appreciate your donations. We have many ways that you can offer your support. You can use the donate button on our website, which is cslcme.org, or try text to give feature. Text the word give, G-I-V-E, to 805-600-5677. If you're doing this for the first time, simply follow the prompts. Once complete, you can easily and quickly text your tax-deductible conscious love offering. And finally, following the service, the church office is open to accept tithes over the phone, accept prayer requests. However you choose to donate, please know that we are extremely grateful for your support. So again, thank you for joining us this morning. And now, here's our lovely and talented music director, Miss Sherry Deeds.
Good morning, Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley. This is the part of the service that is called Arts. Affirmation, reading or study of the Science of Mind principles, and treatment or affirmative prayer. So we'll start with the affirmation, and I'll read it first, and then we all say it together. Okay? My heart and God's heart are one heart, which when listened to, faithfully guides me in all I do. Let's say it together. My heart and God's heart are one heart, which when listened to, faithfully guides me in all I do. All right, let's take a deep breath for our study portion of art. The reading this morning comes from the Science of Mind magazine, the September issue, and the article was written by Brother Balananda. And he is a devotee of Paramahansa Yogananda. Faith is born of love. If we love someone deeply, we have faith in what they tell us. To have faith in ourselves is also important. Once we realize we are sons and daughters of God, we realize we can do anything. We have unlimited potential. God can be thought of as an intelligent ocean of light and energy governing all things, and we are cells in that ocean of light and energy. We are all little sparks of God. Some cells are brighter than others, some are darker, some are just brimming with light, and they share that light with all the other cells. When we face an obstacle, the universe responds to help us reach our goal or dream. We are all connected and one in God. In his commentary on God Talks with Arjuna, the Bhagavad Gita, Yogananda explains that fearlessness means faith in God, faith in His protection, His justice, His wisdom, His mercy, His love, His omnipresence. Even after we set foot on a spiritual path and embrace it, we will still face tough lessons. But with faith, we realize that tests are merely the grit in the oyster of our lives that ultimately forms a pearl of realization. Let's take a deep breath. We go into our affirmative prayer, knowing that there is only this one intelligent ocean of light and love, and that each and every one of us are sparks in that intelligent ocean of light and love, and that light and love is present in all its fullness in every point and space in time. Therefore, it's present in each and every spark, in each and every one of us. So therefore, I know that this divine intelligence, this love and this light is fully present in the service this morning. That it is fully present in the music, that it's fully present in the words spoken, in the prayers made, that it is fully present in the listeners, and all that works together for the service this morning. And therefore I know and declare and accept that spark of light in each of us is revealed even more this morning, just by being together. And for this I'm grateful, and I let it be, and so it is.
Hi, Simi Valley. Miss you guys. Hope you enjoy these videos, and I hope you're having a great week and everybody's safe and healthy. Thanks. This is There Is. When I close my eyes, I see all that life can be, 'cause it's already there, it's already shared in spirit. When I choose to clear my mind of all the weight of outside, and one becomes all collective and tall between us. 'Cause there is strength in numbers, there is faith that answers now. If we make our voices heard by ourselves, we will find there is love, there is joy, there is peace. There's a choice to change our thoughts. We can when I quiet all my doubts, the truth of life comes out, and it's already there, it's already shared in the oneness. 'Cause there is strength in numbers, there is faith that answers now. If we make our voices heard by ourselves, we will find there is love, there is joy, there is peace. There's a choice to change our thoughts. We can create sight when we are blind, and light when roads are dark, and all that we decide. Now there is love, there is joy, there is peace. There's a choice to change our thoughts. We can create change.
We now will be doing the practice of meditation. We will be meditating for 3 minutes. In Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley, Reverend Stephen has chosen to call it the gap meditation. And the reason is that in between our in-breath and our out-breath, and our out-breath and our in-breath, there's a moment of silence. Between our thoughts, there's a moment of silence. And when we focus on that silence, literally the universe opens up. And we see the truth of ourselves, of our own being. So we will be meditating for 3 minutes. What I'd like you to do is just notice your in-breath coming in, and then focus on that gap. And then notice the out-breath, and focus on that gap. And through practice, you will fall into this beautiful space. Let's meditate. breathe in. And exhale long. Very slowly come out of meditation and take the experience with you. And if you haven't done so already, please open your eyes.
When you're still, do you hear one small voice, crystal clear, saying, listen here, my friend, listen here. Well, that voice is your own, and it speaks to you alone. You can count on me, it says, so listen here. This is you. This is real. This is truly the way you feel. You can run. You can hide. Oh, but sometime, someplace, each of us winds up face to face with that little voice inside. So we hope and we yearn and we live life and sometimes learn from that little voice that whispers crystal clear, and we each hear the call, 'cause it's calling to us all. Follow me, it says, never fear. This is you. This is real. This is truly the way you feel. You can run. You can hide. Oh, but sometimes, someplace, each of us winds up face to face with that little voice inside. So we hope and we yearn and we live life and sometimes learn from that little voice that whispers crystal clear. And we each hear the call, 'cause it's calling to us all. Follow me, it says, never fear. Listen here, old friend. Listen here, buddy. Listen here.
Oh my goodness. Dennis Bryan, thank you so much for reminding us to listen here. Listen here. Listen here. The ear in your chest. Listen here. Today we're talking about faith. Faith and finding answers in the heart. I've been talking a lot about faith the last couple days. Last week we talked about the fifth agreement and the idea of doubt. And I think doubt is really what has led us here to this moment, to learn to listen here. Listen to that small voice that can speak with such clarity, as was talked about in Dennis's song. And that voice sometimes is fueled by our doubt. That's what last week was about, that fifth agreement, the skeptical idea. So in some ways, doubt has fueled our faith. It brings us to the place where we can listen and find those answers to the heart and then know what to do with them. And the truth is, that is really what we are. We are the answer in the heart being made into a call to express ourselves more fully. And this call that's in us, it doesn't have an on-off switch. You can't flip it. It's not a dial that you turn. It's something that you actually are, that we are, but we must trust it. And from a metaphysical perspective, not only and a science of my perspective, not only must we trust it, but we must work with it and experiment with it, and then allow the evidence of it to work in our lives. When I bought this house many years ago and moved into this house, I knew that a couple of gentlemen, a married couple, this is long before two men could legally marry, but a married couple committed to one another lived in this house. And one of them, a guy named Arthur, had passed away of AIDS. And I had the opportunity to meet his grand aunt. And she gave me a kind of a blessing, said, "I'm so happy you're purchasing this house. I think that Arthur would really have liked you." And so I felt the energy of this man in this house. And it was maybe the first week that I was here. And I was getting up in the middle of the night to go into the kitchen. And I thought to turn on the light. And something said, and I think it was the essence of Arthur. That's what I feel. It said, "Don't turn on the light. I'll guide you. You'll be okay. You'll find your way." I had boxes everywhere. I didn't want to stub my toe, but I listened. Listened here. I listened. And sure enough, walked through the darkness and got to the kitchen and got back and no problem whatsoever. Now, for me, that was a faith experience. I just trusted. This was even before Science of Mind had come into my life. This was 30 years ago. I didn't know about this teaching. I lived it. It was when I found about the book and read the Science of Mind textbook that I went, hey, this is how I've lived my whole life. There's a philosophy behind this. There are people that believe in this stuff. This is awesome. And I just got on board, and here I am. I'm on board the train. I'm drinking the Science of Mind Kool-Aid, and I'm loving it, and I'm sharing it wherever I can. Would you like to have a glass of Kool-Aid today? But you know what I've come to understand at this thing, faith, that we get to listen to, it is truly our very essence. Our essence. It's the base of who we are. It's essential. It's real. It's invariable. It's unshakable, and it's inescapable. We can't get away from it. Unconsciously. At the subconscious level. But on the conscious level, we surely can get away from it. On the conscious level, we can listen to the false self all the time instead of the true self. We can listen to the false self, the self that says, my bruised ego needs me to have X, Y, or Z. This new toy is going to make me feel good. If I forgive that person, I'm going to be weak and not be strong. But we must nurture a knowing within us, a conviction within us that allows us to trust this faith thing. And move for it. Move with the voice that comes. Move with what's happening in the world today. And have the conviction that we can make a change. Dr. Holmes talks about this, and we're kind of doing an ode to Dr. Holmes today because all the quotes except for one come from Dr. Holmes. And he says, in order to have faith, we must have a conviction that all is well. In order to keep faith, we must allow nothing to enter our thought which will weaken this conviction. We must have nothing to enter our thought which will weaken this conviction. See, that's the power of faith. There's something there that says this is the truth, right? But then that false self, the ego self, the outside world, the external world starts bombarding us with messages that just start to attack this deep conviction, and then eventually it breaks open and we let the conviction go. But today it's really about holding on to that conviction, holding on to that truth that resides in the heart. And events today are certainly going to make it hard. When we see the injustices out there today, when we see the fracturing of our nation, when we see that here we have a giant in our life, in the life of our country, make her transition this week, and before her body has even been dealt with and properly loved by those that loved her dearly and closest, they're already picking sides and figuring out what's going to happen next. We're so wrapped up in trying to get it right here, right now, right fast. But if we stop, and as Reverend Johanna talked about in the gap, and just close our eyes and breathe into that moment, breathe, slow it down, then we'll know what to do. But sometimes faith can be very scary, like that walk in the dark. Yeah, it was just through the house, and the worst that could happen was I could stub my toe. But the faith is very much like walking in the dark. We don't exactly know where you're going to go. It's calling you to something you haven't seen before. But Holmes says, hold on to that conviction and you truly prove that you have the faith. Hold on to the thing that seems is hanging out there in the dark. You know it's out there somewhere. You've done it. We're walking in the dark and you put your hands out because you don't want to run into anything because you know the wall is there. Well, also the good is out there too. Holding on to faith requires practice. It requires practice of walking in the dark. And there are building blocks for it. We have to believe that what we're asking for is there and accept that it's actually there and trust the voice inside that says, even though we don't see the evidence, even though everything in reality denies the conviction that we have the ability to know. We have the ability to know that the way to the kitchen is set over there and you don't need the lights. You can walk in the dark and get there. Barbara Brown Taylor, walking in the dark. You can walk in the dark and get there. Dr. Holmes says that there's something really powerful about this. He says, we're not going through a harder time today, a longer dark night than has ever been experienced before. It only seems darker because we have lost faith, the beacon of light. Now I say that because I prick that quote because I look at what's happening in the world today, and so many people say, oh, it's never been like this before. 2020, what a year. All these people have passed away. We're locked in our house for 7 months. We've got an economy that's whoop, 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 whoop. We have more unemployment. We have injustice in our streets. We have things breaking out everywhere. We have people claiming for law and order and people saying that law and order needs to be changed. And it just seems terrible out there. This is our time to not lose our faith in the ideals and the beliefs that we have, particularly here in the Science of Mind teaching, the beliefs of harmony, of divine right action, of perfect guidance, of the unfoldment of good, of the relief of discord of every nature through the understanding of the power of the mind, to become beacons, light beacons, as Dr. Holmes says in that quote, light beacons. Can't lose the faith. We are the light, lighting the way. I was thinking about this yesterday, and you know, the hurricane. Whoa, it's rough. All on the edges of the hurricane, and our folks on the Gulf Coast. My heart goes out to you. 2 hurricanes, 3 hurricanes back to back, and who knows what's in store for you. But that hurricane, as it rolls toward the coast with all of its winds and violence, in the center of the hurricane is a stillness. We are that stillness in the center of what seems to be the hurricane of life that we're going through right now. We see a lot of misery. We see a lot of suffering. We see a lot of anguish going on. And some of that, from our perspective, is the result of ignorance of how the law operates, the misapplication of the law. And there's so much focus on the dark night that seems darker than it's ever been before that we forget that we're the beacon of light. Switch from thinking dark night. See yourself as the beacon of light. And know that beacon, that light, that flame, that candle, that spark of divine energy, as the Kabbalists say, the shard of light that burst into expression through God itself resides in your heart, and it outpictures in the presence of love. And it's very interesting that love is associated to the heart. For me, at least, here's what I'm thinking about this, because the heartbeat, it's consistent. And it's persistent, and it's sustaining of life, and I don't have to do anything. And if it stops, I'll have to give it a little assistance. And it starts back up again in many cases because it is that life-sustaining thing. Thus the acronym FIND answers in the heart, because the heart is consistent, persistent, and sustaining. You're feeling senses of doubt, go into the heart and ask the question in the quiet of your own consciousness and reveal yourself the consistent, persistent, sustaining answer that tells you that joyous life, it's beating the opportunity for joyous life to come into you. That's pure faith. That's pure faith. Holding to conviction. acquiescence, holding on to everything, letting nothing go, embodying that idea and accepting it as your own, lighting your own way like King Arthur's knights that were going out on their vision quest, and they'd get to the edge of the forest and they would look, and where would they go? Not where there was a trail, but where there was not a trail. They blazed theirself right into the darkness, and they blast through and get their own trail. But we have to hold and know that we can do it, and we can. This is what our spiritual practice is all about, building those spiritual muscles, using our faith to help us build those spiritual muscles. Think about, wow, talk about a metaphysical giant of our time, a Bible in a way of our time. It's really the Bible is a bunch of metaphors and parables and stories that help us to understand life a little better. What better modern day Bible could there be than, or there are plenty of them, but one of the great modern day Bibles is the Star Wars series. So here you got Luke Skywalker is going looking for the Yoda, and he crashes his X-Fighter, and it lands, and he finally lands, but he lands in this swampy thing, and it sinks, right? And so here's, the story. Here's Yoda. He's trying to teach Luke, follow the Force, which is really follow the consciousness, which is follow your heart, which is stand in faith, right? And he says, so he's teaching him all about it, and here Luke's got the rocks, he's in the air, and he even has R2-D2 floating in the air, and Yoda's like, oh, this is good. Okay, now I want you to get the starfighter, get your X-wing out of the creek. He says, oh, what? He tries. Nothing happens, and Yoda walks over, little Yoda, here comes a starfighter right up out of the water. And what does Luke say? Wow, I couldn't do that. And Yoda says, that's right. You couldn't, because you thought you couldn't. He had lost faith. He had lost that conviction. The challenge in front of him looked bigger than his opportunity to do it. But that's the true faith. When the challenge in front of you looks bigger than what you think you can do, stop thinking that, because we got a big God. Huge, too big for the mind to even comprehend. And here, Dr. Holmes says, we shall often need to know that the truth which we announce is superior to the condition we are to change. Announce the truth, even if the truth looks bigger than what you're trying to do, because the truth is, that's it. We must begin in our lives to announce truths that are bigger than the condition that we're trying to change. It's time to do more of that. More of that. That's our call. That's the beauty that we have coming for us. And to do that, we must remain open. Open at the top. That's something you hear in Science of Mind all the time. Stay open at the top. Dr. Holmes talked about being open at the top. And when he said that, he was talking about being open to new concepts and new developments and new advances in science and in theology and philosophy, and to bring that into being. But there's another open at the top that faith calls to, and that is to be open to new thoughts and new beliefs, to be open to releasing biases and to changing habits, to truly let go and let God. Let faith pull you. Let faith be the magnet. The open mind, once open, faith becomes like a magnet, and you start moving towards your good, and nothing can, you don't want to recall back the old way. You won't want to go back to the old way. You don't go back to the old way because faith is pulling you, and you must go. You must go where faith pulls. It's like tug of war, and you're holding on to the old way, and when you're playing tug of war and you think this is a different kind, this is a reverse tug of war. Think about this. You're holding on and you let go and boom, you hit the ground. Well, with faith, when you're holding on, what you're holding on to sometimes on that other side is the old way, the dark, scary condition on the other side, the one with the small conviction. But you hold on and you let go and you hit the ground. What ground? The groundedness of your being. The groundedness of your being. Yeah, you get caught by spirit itself. That's the ground you hit. And once you do that, look out. Good stuff's getting ready to happen. I'm so glad I just said stuff. Listen, Dr. Holmes. This is the one. I call him Tommy Merton because I feel intimately close to him. Thomas Merton has this idea that this whole part that I'm talking about came from, this whole part about letting go, opening up to the top so that something new can happen. Here he is. He says, He says, this is big. We can never fully know God if we think of God as an object of capture to be fenced in by the enclosure of our own ideas. We know God better after we let God go. We know God better after we let God go. Now you may be saying to yourself, Steve, you weren't talking about God. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was. Because I'm talking about life. I'm talking about our lives. And our lives are God's life. See, it's all God. So when we're thinking about a small idea, right, we're thinking about a small God. We need to let that idea go. Let go the fenced-in enclosure that we've put around the life experience. That means we put a fenced-in enclosure around God, and we can know God better when we let go of God. You see, God comes to us as we recede, if we're just the floodwaters flooding our brains with all the thoughts we've already had and all the things we've already done and all the stuff we already know, and we're just flooding our brain with that, there's no room for the bigger God to come into our life. Faith says, let that go. It says, open up and let the waters recede. And in that space, that's what the gap's all about. In that space comes flooding in intuition, inspiration, and just a new idea for how to live your life more fully. And then faith calls us into action. We get moved by our groundedness, rooted in the soil. We become the vehicle of God's expression, fueled by our faith. We get caught by the ideas on faith's highway. On faith's highway, we start traveling down Equality Place. We start walking across Justice Square. We start moving down Harmony Avenue and turning right on Compassion Boulevard. Get Peace right, going down Peace Lane and Beauty Parkway, and then on Love Circle. It's a beautiful town, faith. It's a beautiful way of traveling. See, once we open ourselves up to faith, it's like the iron filings on the table plate, and then the magnet, and they all get pulled into the magnet. That's what we get our good gets magnetized by faith, and we just get pulled to it. And again, it's scary. It's scary. It's like riding a roller coaster. It can be, but you know what? I love roller coasters, and one of the things that always happens with a roller coaster is it always goes back to the destination. You don't just take off on a roller coaster and don't know where you're going to go. You know where you're going to go. And with faith, you know where you're going to go. You're going to go into your good. It's going to be thrilling. It's going to be exhilarating. It's going to be frightening. But the destination is known. And the destination is told to you at the beginning of this story. It's told to you by listening for that answer in the heart. By listening to that answer in the heart. Dr. Holmes says this, though. Here's the caution. We must not be lukewarm in our conviction. We must know that we know. I didn't add the italics. He did in the textbook. It's a textbook. When you're reading the textbook of Science of Mind, always look for the bold print, the capitalized letters, and the italicized print. That tells you it's important. See, we must not be lukewarm in our conviction. We must know. We must know that we know. Jump on board the roller coaster of faith, my friends. Enjoy the ride and love the journey. You will find the answers in your car right there with you on the roller coaster. And as you drive your vehicle down through the town of faith across Equality Place and Justice Square and Harmony Boulevard and Compassion Drive and Peace Lane and Love Circle, you'll know that you've powered your vehicle, the vehicle of God. You've powered it because you have found your answers in the heart. And so it is. Hey, let's do our affirmation together, shall we? Here it is. My heart and God's heart are one heart. When listened to, faithfully guides me in all I do. My heart and God's heart. One heart, when listened to, faithfully guides me in all I do. Whew. I felt faithfully guided in all I've been doing today. That I enjoyed spending that time with you, and I hope I said something that worked for you. I have to go back later and look at the replay because I'm not even sure what I totally said. because that's what happens when you open up at the top and let it flow, right? Yeah. Oh, yes. Ooh, very important time. This is our time for healing prayer. We go within and allow Spirit to move us, to groove us, to put us on the roller coaster of life and take us to our final destination through the thrills and excitement that takes place. Join me now. Coming to you now from that space of one-heartedness, from the recognition of the one life of which we all share, from the deep conviction that this only thing that is, life itself, is so infinite, so boundless, that the fullest way to express it is to recede from any ideas of what I think it is, and to allow an answer to reside from the ear of my chest to tell me what it truly is. And then to have the faith to stand in what I hear and to move into the life of good that comes from it. This is what I hear in prayer today that I'm calling forth for each and every one of us, that we stand in our faith and we hold to our conviction, and then we walk toward our good that brings about more harmony and right action in our lives, that divinely guides us to the solution and resolution of any difficulty that becomes our present day experience, so that we know that that present day experience is merely a downward dip in the roller coaster. Maybe it's a corkscrew along the roll that then takes us to that landing destination that's just straight and smooth. There's something within us that knows how to keep R2-D2 and the rocks and the X-Fighter up in the air, because we have a power within us that's able to choose. So we choose. We choose our good because we have done our work. I affirm each and every one of us doing the work today. In my mind, I see every person who is watching this cast, listening to it later, talking to someone about it, standing in their conviction and answering the question of what is mine to do, and then doing it with ease, with grace, with strength, with power. And from that place, there's no way we can lose. From creating a world that works for everyone, for bringing an end to all sense of discord, and finding harmony and love as the prevailing energies of the universe. This is our task, this is our quest, this is our journey, and this is our truth. And it happens now by this word that I'm so grateful to share with you and to release into a perfect law that answers yes to the intentions of my heart and the heart of all those who are listening right here and right now. And so it is. And so it is. We have more music from that wonderful artist. This man has such a sweet voice and great energy. He was done such lovely videos for us today. And let's get him back here one more time. Here's Dennis Bryan.
Hey, everybody out there. We're going to do a little groove tune, a little chant called We're All Connected. So we'll get some moving out there, some dancing out there, in your living rooms, in your underwear, whatever. Here we go. We're all connected by love. We're all connected by light. We're all connected by divine spirit. We're all connected by God. Be a part of it. Be the change and be a part of it. Rearranged by love. By love, 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 I believe we're all connected by love. We're all connected by light. We're all connected by divine spirit. We're all connected by God. Be a part of it, come on. as one. Put your hands together and your hearts as one. Put your hands together and your hearts as one. Living in light, living in love. Oh, living in light. Living in love. We're all connected.
Greetings, Simi Valley. As we journey together, contemplating abundance, one might consider the law of circulation, of attraction. I firmly believe that the breath inside the breath is where abundance resides. I've created a song, a real small little ditty, if you will, that I think really connects with this flow of abundance. I'd like for you to consider singing along with me. I'll sing it through one time, then we'll break it down, and then I'd like to invite you to sing it along with me. Here we go. The spirit of abundance flows through me. It lives inside my breath. As I inhale, the flow of abundance resides in every breath. You got it? That was pretty easy, huh? All right. Now, I'm going to break it down one section at a time. I'll sing it first, then you sing it after me. The spirit of abundance flows through me. It lives inside my breath. Now sing it with me this time. The spirit of abundance flows through me. It lives inside my breath. And the second half goes like this. As I inhale, the flow of abundance resides in every breath. Let's sing that part together. As I inhale, the flow of abundance resides in every breath. You got it. I can hear you all right now. All right, let's try it all together, all the way through. I'll count us in. 1, 2, 3, and the spirit of abundance flows through me. It lives inside my breath. As I inhale, the flow of abundance resides in every breath. Remember, the flow of abundance, it lives within each of us. Enjoy as we continue to contemplate abundance.
Hello, CSL Simi Valley. Oh gosh, mwah, miss you all so much. Sending big hugs and kisses. It's what I miss the most is touching everybody and giving you all kisses. But you're all right here in my heart and in my consciousness as part of my big, loving CSL family. And it's such an important part of my life. And part of that is giving. I have to give every month. It's even some months it's easy and some months I have extra to give and other months I don't have much to give, but I still always give because it's important to keep this circulation in my consciousness, and it's important to support the center so that we know that they'll still be there, that the center will still be here for us because the bills keep going on, right? And this teaching, it's helping in a lot of ways in a time that our world is kind of upside down. I mean, for me, not being able to be in touch with people. I know some of you, may have hardships, illness, and maybe financial hardships during this time, or just, missing the people that you love and not being able to be with them as much, or if at all sometimes. And that's when this teaching is most important, and that's when we have to really value it in every way that we can. So please give if you can. And gosh, mwah, love you all, knowing the absolute best and highest possibility for you guys in your life. See you guys soon. Ciao.
Ah, beautiful. The spirit of abundance flows through me. It lives inside my breath. As I inhale, the flow of abundance resides in every breath. Oh, thank you, T. Michael Rambo, for that. Thank you, Reverend Johanna, for talking to Michael to get him to do that song. That's lovely. And this is the time when we do our pledge of giving that exhibits that flow of abundance that's residing in every breath. Join me now as we say it together. Divine love is doing its perfect work here and now. Divine love harmonizes, divine love adjusts, divine love prospers, divine love foresees everything and richly provides every good thing for CSL Simi Valley now. Divine love is victorious.
Knowing that we are all one with this powerful ocean of light and energy, of that infinite intelligence, I know that this ocean is abundant. And therefore, each and every one of us is already abundant. It is our nature. And from that, I also know that Center for Spiritual Living is already abundant. It is its nature. And I celebrate right now the proof of this abundance just by all the offerings made. I bless the offering. I bless the giver. I bless what is given. And I bless Center for Spiritual Living Simi Valley. That abundance just flows easily and effortlessly to us and from us. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you for, oh man, what a lovely service. And normally at this time of service, we would just flow right into the recap and we'd be down near the end. But, you know, the season is changing soon, and Dennis sent us an extra special song. And so I thought I would add it in. It's kind of a look back and an ode to summer. You know, our summer was changed this year in a very different way, but there's an energy that comes with summer. And I just feel like this song from Dennis captures that energy so sweetly. So let me bring back Dennis Bryan for one more. We'll call this the bonus tune for today. Here he is.
Summer sun settles in its rightful place. Ocean breeze whispers right across my face. And lying in the sand without a care in sight, basking in the splendor of the birds in flight. And it's all about the awe and wonder. Riding bikes and cruising through the city streets, passing all the faces smiling cheek to cheek, and flying kites in colors made of greens and blues, catching up with friends you thought you never knew. And it's all about the awe and wonder. spare a dime. A dime is all you need to own. It's the simple things that living brings, and it's all about the awe and wonder in the light of summer. Walking up the shore to meet the rocks and waves, taking time to savor all that God has made, and matching all the outer good with what's inside. Grateful that this life is just a joyous ride, and it's all about the awe and wonder. And it's all about the light of summer. Then it's time to take the message home. It's all mine to have when I am grown. It's the simple things that Spirit brings, and it's all about the awe and wonder in the light of summer. It's the awe and wonder in the light of summer. In the light of summer.
What a great song, In the Light of Summer. So much energy. So let's take that energy and ground ourselves in the service today so it stays with us. Okay, when we have this exhilaration, this joy within us, we can bring it inside and really ground ourselves. So I want to start by giving thanks for all the people who participated in the service today. First of all, we have had a number of practices. We do the practices during the service so that we can take them with us and follow up with them throughout the week, okay? So we did the practice of affirmation, of study and prayer, of contemplation, of music, and meditation. And now we have the practice of gratitude. So again, we take that joy, we breathe it in, and we close our eyes for a moment, and we take it inside our hearts, and just let that joy spread to Dennis Bryan with his fantastic music today, to Reverend Stephen for his talk and for producing this wonderful service every Sunday, to Marianne Lockhart and Saul Latzer for the announcements, for Team Michael Rembo for the beautiful Contemplating Abundance ditty that becomes an ear charm. It sits there. It stays with us. To Cheryl Glass, sharing about giving. And to Floyd Lula, we will be seeing them in just a few minutes. Okay, and Lydia mentioned in the comments, we give thanks to our ancestors who came before us. We give thanks to the great ones, including RGB, of course, who came before us and are inspiring us. Okay, and now take another deep breath. And thank yourself. Thank yourself for showing up. Thank yourself for embracing the light. Thank yourself for doing the practices. All right? And take another deep breath, and you can keep your eyes closed while I do the recap or open them up. But today, Reverend Stephen spoke on faith. He says, we must nurture a knowing within us and stand in our conviction. We need to slow down. We need to slow down. Breathe into the moment and we'll know what to do. Faith is like walking in the dark. we need to practice. And we have steps to practice. We check our beliefs. We practice acceptance of our good. And we trust it's there. We stand in our conviction and we are compliant with our conviction. Accept and embody it. We are like a heartbeat, consistent, persistent, and sustaining. Remember, the truth of us is bigger than any condition. Stay open, let go of limited ideas, and be open to new ideas. And while we're open, we stay rooted in our inner knowingness, and we're fueled by faith. Let yourself be moved by faith, and then you are the light beacon. The journey is exciting, and the fruit of our efforts is great. We ride the journey in a hybrid, thank you, T. Michael. We ride the journey in a hybrid vehicle of self-effort and the guidance of the divine. We hold on tight, thanks, Greg. We hold on tight and strap ourselves in faith. Thank you, everybody. Oh, forgot 2 things. First of all, love to see you coming Wednesday at 7 o'clock for Poetry as Spiritual Practice. I have a quote by Norman Fisher that describes why we're doing this. Poetry defamiliarizes the familiar and thereby makes it new. It helps us to practice faith by contemplating poetry. So come and join us on Wednesday. And then today we will have Après Verge. The coming 2 weeks we will not, but today we will. So love to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Johanna. Beautiful. Thank you so much for the recap and for the invitation to Poetry Spiritual Practice this week. And I love how the congregation, it's just like being in the sanctuary. The congregation is writing the talk along with us and all the things you included that were said that work, the hybrid vehicle and strapping ourselves in. So that's sweet. That's what we do. That's how we do it. So we're doing Birch as close as we possibly can to what we do in the sanctuary, and we're looking forward to the state opening up so we can begin to do things again. This is wow, we have done it. We have gone through the full gamut today, and now it's up. Here we go. I think my mic was off, but it's on now. Okay. I'm at home in the heart of God. My life is anchored in truth. I can never be separate. I live in the consciousness of peace. I release all fear. I am living love.
Hey, Simi Valley, we're grateful that you're here. This is from Floyd Lula.
We love you. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. In the name of love, with a heart of grace, overflow in us and decorate this place. As it is below, so it is above. May we always stand in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one. In the name of love, when the day is done, we will sing this song all as one. In the name of love. In the name of love, may we always be seeking out the best till we all are free. Living in a world we've been dreaming of, where we stand as one in the name of love. When the only one. In the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one. In the name of love. 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 When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one. In the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one. In the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one. In the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one. In the name of love. 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 Oh yeah. In the name of love. 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 Peace and blessing. We love you.